Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everything Arsenal. Let's catch up with the latest updates, and let's start with this one on Cristhian Nørgaard. And this is what Fabrizio's had to report less than an hour ago. Arsenal and Brentford have exchanged all paperwork for Cristhian Nørgaard deal. The Danish midfielder will join Mikel Arteta's squad as expected. So everything is done with the Cristhian Nørgaard deal. It's going to be below 15 million. You're going to wait for the exact numbers, and the deal is done, but it's going to be less than 15 million, and he will be joining us this week. The medical will be done this week, as Fabrizio confirmed already. In terms of announcement, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. I'm also interested to see how much is going to be paid per week, because at Brentford, all the players were getting paid 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 a week. So how much are we going to be giving him at Arsenal? Is it going to be, close to 100,000 or way less than that? I'm thinking around 50,000 pounds per week, which is significantly less than what Partey would have been on. And I think that was definitely a key factor in us letting go of Partey and bringing in Cristhian Nørgaard. And obviously, how is he going to fit at Arsenal? How often is he going to feature? I'm absolutely looking forward to that, to see, is he going to be coming off the bench for Zubimendi? Is he going to be coming on to protect Leeds? How many games is he going to be starting? Is he going to be starting in a double pivot next to Rice, next to Zubimendi? Really looking forward to all of that. And he's a very cheap signing and a Premier League experience. So let's see how it works out for him. So medical this week, paperwork exchanged. He will be officially our third signing after Kepo's already announced and Zubimendi, who's going to be announced tomorrow. So let's see how that one goes. So welcome to Arsenal, Cristhian Nørgaard. That one is basically done. Now, Timmies and Ticks had this to say about Nørgaard. Tottenham did want Cristhian Nørgaard. Thomas Frank absolutely loves him. He can't stop singing his praises, but Nørgaard only wanted Arsenal. He wasn't going to listen to anything else. So that is a huge W for us, because that was his old manager at Brentford. He was his manager there for a lot of years. He could easily have just said, let me go to Tottenham. But I'm also hearing Brentford had quoted like around 45 million to Tottenham in terms of signing Nørgaard. So getting him for less than 15 million, I don't know how Andrea Berta's able to pull that off. And the player wanted to join us. So that is great too. And on top of that, I really do love doing business with Brentford. It was so easy getting Ryan on loan and then signing him permanently, and now getting Nørgaard has also been easy. We also got the goalkeeper coach from there, so working with Brentford is particularly great. Maybe you can try and buy more some other time, maybe even now. Who knows? Get as many players as you want, get as many forward players as you want. Let's go out there and win everything next season. That is what we want to see. So Cristhian Nørgaard, that one will be done soon. Now let's go to the next one, and the next one is on Eze. So we talked about Eze on the live show earlier. Fabrizio had this to say in case you missed it. After direct contract revealed on Monday, Eberechi Eze has opened doors to Arsenal moving clear away. He's open to joining Arsenal project and attracted by this chance for his future. Arsenal are informed on release clause details and more. So the Eze deal literally came out of nowhere, and it's looking like it's the one that is going to be done next, even ahead of Gyökeres, ahead of Sesko, ahead of Rodrigo, and any other player we've been linked in the forward positions. This one came out of nowhere, and it's looking like we're going to be getting it done very soon. Now, I think for the Eze one, we're not going to push it too much, because I'm sure other teams would be ready to come in for him. Don't be surprised if a Liverpool came in for him. Don't be surprised if a Tottenham came back for him if they didn't get the Kudus deal done, or if they can't get the Kudus deal done. And any other team, this is a very, very good player, and I'm sure if you're to ask any Premier League team, everyone would take him. And for most teams, he would start, including ours. So this is a very good player, very exciting talent. And getting a player like Eze, man, I cannot wait, man. That would be so good. And it's not even for 80, 90 million pounds, where the pressure is so high and he has to deliver like from the first game. We're going to be getting him for like 60 million, and we're going to pay that in 3 installments. So that would be absolutely fantastic, man. And the player wants to join us. I'm also happy to hear that. Gyökeres wants to join Arsenal, Eze wants to join Arsenal, Nørgaard wants to join Arsenal, Mosquera wants to join Arsenal. That is what you want. You want quality players who want to join the team. That is, a win-win situation for everyone. For us, the fans, for the player who wants to join us, for the team itself, it's a win-win situation for everyone. They want to come and play for you. You want them in your team. You need them in your team, most importantly, and we definitely do need a player like Eze in our team. Let's see how that one goes. So that is what Fabrizio reported earlier on. And then these two, Fabrizio said Arsenal are working on a deal for Eberechi Eze. The player is keen on the move and is excited by the project of the club. Arsenal have now started talks on the conditions of the deal with both Crystal Palace and Eze's representatives. Now, Obviously, Eze used to play for Arsenal. I should have mentioned that as well. Crystal Palace have an issue going on in the European football. They have qualified for the Europa League, but they might be kicked out because they have another team with the same owner, Lyon, who are competing in the competition as well. I don't think it's fair for them because the teams like Man City and Girona and Man United and Nice were all allowed to compete. I don't think it would be fair for Crystal Palace. But if they don't, if they, are not allowed to play, it would be sad for them, but for us, I'm an Arsenal supporter, you're an Arsenal supporter. It would be great to see Crystal Palace playing there. They deserve it, but I guess teams just have to take advantage, Maybe if they're in European football and they're guaranteed, maybe Eze decides to stay for a year, but maybe they know something that we don't know. Maybe it's already basically confirmed that they're not going to be there and they have to get rid of some players. You have to take advantage of it. And Eze for 60 million in 3 installments, you get him right away. This would be an absolute exciting signing with Premier League experience. I cannot wait for him to join. But ideally, I'd want Eze to join Arsenal and Crystal Palace to play in the Europa League. So that would be great for all the parties. Again, WW situation for everyone. David Onston has given this update less than an hour ago as well. Noni Madueke is one of the players Arsenal are looking at. Arsenal have long been searching for backup and competition for Saka. They first looked at Mbeumo. That didn't work out. So they had to look at alternatives. Madueke is among them. A lot appeals to Arsenal about that profile because he can play on the other side too. He'll be known to many of the Arsenal players. He's London-based, and Chelsea are always open to conversations about trading. Especially with Arsenal. It's been there for like 20 years. It's clearly one Arsenal are doing some work on. Conversations are more on the player's side. I don't know of anything club to club at this point, but that can change very quickly. Sorry, that's a fluid conversation at the moment. If he is to go, Chelsea will be looking for a sizable return. I don't know the exact fee. Some people have reported in excess of £45 million. I'd previously seen it was higher, certainly higher than what they paid for him, I'd imagine. So a lot to discuss there. Let's go with the first paragraph first. Noni Madueke is one of the players Arsenal are looking at. Arsenal have long been searching for a backup competition for Saka. Now, that is definitely something we've always been looking at for the last 3 years. We've not managed to get it for different reasons, or maybe you've gotten it but it didn't work. For example, Sterling. And we've always needed a backup for Saka. Nwaneri could be good as well. He can also play as a number 10. Hopefully, if we bring Eze, Nwaneri can get more opportunities to back up Saka. And Nwaneri is very good from that side, cutting in and shooting the ball. He is very, very good. So that is a player I want to feature more next season. Didn't get too many opportunities last season as he would have liked, as the fans would have liked. But hopefully does get more opportunities next season. Now, the reason why I didn't want Mbeumo at Arsenal. Mbeumo is a very good player. I would have loved to sign him. But the reason I was like, okay, I'm not too keen on it is because Mbeumo would cost like 70 million euros and pounds actually. And I didn't think it was worth it to get a backup for Saka for 70 million before getting, a left wing and a striker first. If you have gotten those positions first and you still have money to get a right winger, a backup for 70 million, well and good. So it wouldn't make sense for me to say I want Madueke for 45 million when I also didn't want Mbeumo for, that much money as well. I feel like you need to get all the other positions first. And again, I wouldn't really be willing to pay 45 million to 50 million for Madueke. I think that is a lot of money for someone who's been on poor form more times than he's been on good form for Chelsea so far. Is he has like 3-4 good games and then disappears for 2 months and then sits on the bench and then comes back and all that. So I wouldn't be willing to spend that kind of money. If it's a backup for Saka, there's other players you can go for. There's Bakayoko at PSV would be cheaper than that. There's Kubo at Sociedad would be cheaper than that. There's other players that you can get who are cheaper than that. So even if you liked Madueke, even if you want Madueke to join Arsenal, would you be willing to pay 45 million? For him, that's a huge concern for me. I don't think he's worth that kind of money. A lot appeals to Arsenal about that profile because he can play on the other side too. I kind of disagree. I feel like he's more of a right winger than a left winger, and 90% right winger from what I've seen. He'll be known to many of the Arsenal players. He's London-based, and Chelsea are open to conversations about trading. Again, I wouldn't really want to strengthen Chelsea and give them 50 million for them to keep on improving their team. Nope. It's clearly one Arsenal are doing some work on. Conversations have taken place on the player side, but not really club to club. So maybe it's one that we have in the back of our minds as a backup in case we don't get players like Eze and Rodrigo. But yeah, that kind of money, 45 million, no, it was higher, certainly higher than what they paid for him, I'd imagine. So yeah, I don't think we should be paying that kind of money for Madueke, unfortunately. Even if you like the player, I feel like that is too much money to be paying for him. If that is the case, Mbeumo is still available. Go ahead and get an extra 15 million and get him instead, and just have multiple options to play. So that's the latest on Madueke from David Austin. I mean, you don't have to have the same opinion as me. Maybe you feel like Madueke is worth that 45 million and is going to be a good backup for Saka. Let me know, a good competition. Personally, for Madueke himself, there's a World Cup coming up. I don't think he should be joining Arsenal because they're stuck in that position. The same guy that is fighting for that position with him for England and players like Bowen and Palmer. So for him, he should be going to a team like Brentford or a team that needs a right winger. Brentford is one of them if Mbeumo leaves. So that is just from a player's point of view. David Johnson also had this update on Martinelli. Arsenal always wanted to strengthen on the left wing, but they've got Gabriel Martinelli there. If he was to leave, then you could see them bringing in a top left-sided winger. If he's not to leave, I don't think so. We've reported on the likes of Rodrigo and Anthony Gordon. I think that's if Martinelli leaves. I don't necessarily think that's if he was to stay. So we've reported on the likes of Rodrigo and Gordon. I think that's if Martinelli leaves. So David Johnson is saying like getting a player like Rodrigo would mean Martinelli leaves. Personally, I'd love to keep both of them, but it's always looked that way. It has always looked like if you're going to sell someone, it's going to be Martinelli. So at this very moment, I don't think we can 100% say Martinelli is going to be an Arsenal player next season. But because the Rodrigo deal is very complicated, he still has a chance to be an Arsenal player next season. There's been other people saying, sell Trossard instead, but we haven't heard anything about Trossard at all. So it looks like he's going to stay. For Martinelli, right now, it is a 50-50. If we get Rodrigo, looks like Martinelli is going to leave. Now, I don't want Martinelli to leave. I want him to stay. But as I told you guys on the live show, I'm seeing, Leipzig asking for crazy money for Sesko and Xavi Simons. I'm seeing Monaco asking for crazy money for Akiluche, Brentford asking for crazy money for Mbeumo. Every other team is asking for crazy money, even for their backup players. Martinelli is an international player. He plays for Brazil. He's been in the Premier League for 6 years. He's had more good seasons than bad seasons. He's a left winger who can play as a striker sometimes. He's still very young. That is not a player you just give away for 30-40 million. If Liverpool are able to give away players like Kwanzaa for 40 million, Martinelli should not be going for anything less than 60 million, whether he's had a bad season or a good season. As I said on the live show, if Martinelli was a Man City player, he would have been going for 80 million right now. So we cannot just let him go for that cheap now. The other thing is, Arsenal have said that they're not really keen on selling Martinelli. So is there still a chance we could sign someone like a Rodrigo and keep Martinelli? Or do we need that money from Martinelli if we buy Rodrigo and Eze and a striker? I think there's still a lot that can happen this month. I don't know if most of these deals are going to carry on to August, the departures. If you're planning to do everything in July, then it's going to be a very, very busy next 29 days for sure. But let's see how that one goes. So he says if you're going to get Gordon and Rodrigo, Gordon, I really doubt it's going to happen. So let's see. But that's according to David Ornstein. Next up, let's talk about Mosquera. Fabrizio says, my understanding is that Cristhian Mosquera's desire is very clear. Arsenal, Arsenal, Arsenal. Mosquera wants to play for Arsenal. Now it's on Valencia and Arsenal to reach an agreement on a fee. The attraction of Arsenal is very strong for the player. So Fabrizio has made it very clear that Mosquera wants Arsenal, Arsenal, Arsenal. He only wants to play for Arsenal. The attraction for Arsenal is clear. So Mosquera definitely wants to play for Arsenal. He's not going to sign a new deal with Valencia. He's been offered a new deal, but he's rejected it. He wants to play for us. We made a 14 million euro bid, but that was rejected. So I think the next bid could be up to 20 million euros. We are going to get him for less than 20 million pounds. That will be around 17, 18 million pounds. And I think for backup of that age, of that quality, right footer, who wants to join Arsenal, again, very important, another player who really wants to join Arsenal and is happy to come and compete with Saliba and Gabriel, which is not easy. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. You get to save money because as you're seeing, the players that you're trying to sign, the Ezes, the Rodrigos, the Gyökeres, the Seskos, it's going to cost a lot of money. So wherever you can save money, sign Kepa for 5 million, you save a bit of money there. Sign Mosquera for 18 million, save a bit of money there. You sign Nørgaard for 15 million, you save a bit of money there, which allows you to get those other players. So that is fantastic. You only want Arsenal. I think this will be our fourth signing. I mean, it could be a fifth, it could be after Eze, but I think it's going to be in and around there. So let's see what happens with Mosquera. And then lastly on Sesko from Tunis and Ticks, the original thought was that Leipzig wanted 83 million euros. That's a lot of money, man. Like 70 million pounds. Essentially like a release clause. And if you wanted to break out it, I think the structure is as complicated as the fee, because I think that 83 million euros was all up front, essentially like a release clause. And if you wanted to break it down, Leipzig wanted more money. That is crazy. So Leipzig basically wanted the 83 million pounds right away. Let's calculate that in. Let's have the exact number in pounds, because that is crazy money right there. I would not be willing to pay that kind of money for Sesko, to be honest. Let's see, 83 million. My goodness, that is a lot. So that is 72 million pounds. Whew. And Tinis and Tick says that it was going to be needed all up front. If Arsenal wanted to break it down in like 2-3 installments, you would have needed to pay even more money. So Leipzig would have wanted like 90 million euros for us to pay it in installments, because for Zubimendi, we had agreed like on 51 million, but because we wanted to pay in installments, we added them another 4 million, which allowed us to pay it in like 3 installments. But to pay Sesko's transfer fee in installments, we need to go from that all the way to like 80 million pounds or more than that. That is a lot of money. And at the moment, I feel like Gyökeres wants to join Arsenal more than Sesko. So that's a lot of money, man. I'm starting to think the Gyökeres one could happen because of that money. Leipzig's point of, actually the second paragraph, Arsenal always thought Leipzig would budge. Arsenal obviously don't want to go to that amount, and it's been stuck. It seems it's a bit of an impasse. Leipzig's point of view is Arsenal haven't put their best foot forward. I think Arsenal's point of view is there's no point with the numbers they're speaking. They're not putting any foot forward. From him being our preferred target, I would say it probably now looks unlikely. It's not completely off or dead, but it probably won't happen. Now, from that, yeah, I think I would say the same as well. If Arsenal are waiting for Leipzig to budge on that amount, that's a lot of money. If Arsenal wanted to pay like 50 million, and we are talking about Leipzig wanting close to 90 million, that's a huge gap that I don't think they're going to, even if they budge there, maybe they would allow the 83 million to be paid in installments, maybe a couple of installments, and I still think us would feel like that is still a lot of money. So that is a tough situation. Now I'm starting to feel like I said 70% Sesko, 30% Gyökeres to join Arsenal. At the moment, it's looking like a 50-50, and probably Gyökeres could go ahead in that race. Now, we've also had Arsenal still linked to players like Watkins, but hopefully do get Gyökeres, because Gyökeres wants to join Arsenal. And the Sesko one looks very unlikely now, because that is a lot of money. I don't even think Gyökeres is that amount of money. I think Gyökeres, they want probably less than that, something like 80 million pounds. So could Arsenal end up, just paying the money for Gyökeres, or are we going to wait again for Gyökeres to drop the money? Because I also don't feel like we should be paying 50, 60 million for Watkins, to be honest. So, wow, that's crazy. I didn't actually know like that it would be like almost 90 million for Sesko. That's a lot of money, man. That's a lot of money. Let me know what you make of all that. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.